There is a country in the globe which is called the pharmacy of the world. It's India, a developing country, lies south of Asian continent and also the seventh largest country in world according to area. Indian pharma sector has an annual revenue of around $55 billion and also holds a position of third largest in world by volume. It plays vital role in production of quality generic drugs in world. When a pharmaceutical company discovers a new medicine for a disease after long days of research and spending plenty of money, according to the intellectual property right, a newly developed product can be protected from making their copies by other manufacturers by a patent for a period of 20 years. During this time, all rights of this product are entitled to one who developed it. Generic drugs are produced after the expiry of patent protection period of original one. They have the same composition as that of originally invented medicine, but way of manufacturing is different. They are available at lower price and effective as that of original one. These factors make generic version of life-saving drugs are affordable to the poor people and thus healthcare became more inclusive. Behind the Indian pharma sector's achievement in generic medicine production, there was a story of a man and his company. It all starts in 1920 when Abdul Hamied returned to India from Germany after completing his PhD in chemistry. Germany, during that times before the World War II, is pioneer in science and technology. Their excellence in science helped them in the war. Even during the war, European countries buy essential chemicals from Germany with the help of countries that did not participate in the war. This again proves their ability in science. Abdul Hamied started a company in 1935 called Chemical, Industrial and Pharmaceutical Laboratories Limited, which later renamed to CIPLA. During these times, British ruled India. They mostly supported business run by their nationals and always tries to monopolize Indian trade. Pharma sector is also under foreign companies' monopoly. Because of this, branded medicines are mostly available which is not affordable to the poor people. This fact became more critical when we know that in 1960, after 13 years of independence, 41% of Indian population was below poverty line. Between all these difficulties, with a dream to produce quality medicines at lowest cost, Abdul Hamied tries with his knowledge and skills in chemistry together with his courage, desire and his teamwork, which turns CIPLA to a quality medicine manufacturer. After 86 years, CIPLA is the fourth largest pharmaceutical company in India. The journey from a small company started in 1935 to the fourth largest pharmaceutical company in India is filled with great stories of effort and sufferings. But it also has some another stories in which they show great humanity and responsibility towards the society. It happens in 1960 when Abdul Hamied's son Yusuf Hamied joins the company. During these times, hypertension or high blood pressure make adverse effects on humans. Sometimes even it causes death because there is no medicine available or proven to treat this disease. In 1964, a British pharmaceutical company named Imperial Chemical Industries developed a beta blocker called propranolol, which proven as effective for the treatment of hypertension. Yusuf Hamied soon got aware about the newly developed medicine. During these times, blood pressure patients in India were also increasing. The beta blocker developed by a British company is far beyond the affordability of poor people in India. Yusuf Hamied and CIPLA takes a decision to produce a generic version of beta blocker without the consent of the company which develops it before the expiry of patent protection period. This is against the patent laws that existed at that time. This decision soon made a revolutionary change in Indian pharmaceutical industry. Meanwhile, Imperial Chemicals and other multinational pharmaceutical companies opposed against CIPLA's action. The issue gained international importance. Soon it reaches the table of then Prime Minister of India, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. But before taking any action against CIPLA for violating intellectual property rights, she tries to hear Yusuf's arguments. Soon, she understood the need for a new patent law in pharma sector. A new patent law came into existence in 1972. This gave patent protection only to the process of manufacturing of newly invented product in pharma, agriculture and chemical sector. This law makes a huge revolution in pharma sector. Companies produce patented version of life-saving medicines at higher quality and lower price. This helps in availability of life-saving drugs at affordable price. When the patent period of original product is expired, these companies enter the international market with their generic medicines. This move, after years, gave India a title, Pharmacy of the World. Thus, a bold decision and its implementation of a company lays the foundation for a great change. In 1981, a new viral infection discovered in United States. The next year, US Center for Disease Control and Prevention named it as Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome, or we can call it AIDS, Human Immunodeficiency Virus or HIV, that attacks the human body's immune system. If not treated, it transforms into AIDS, the last stage of viral infection. HIV has its origin in West Central Africa, transmitted to humans from African green monkey and chimpanzee. In 1986, almost 1 million Americans have been infected by virus. The next year, an antiretroviral drug is made available to treat HIV. There is no cure for HIV, but if treated properly, it will increase the years of healthy life in a patient. The same year, Yusuf Hamied heard about the disease and its drug. In 1987, a pharma company based in United States introduced a new drug named acidothyamidine for treating HIV patients. It cost around $8,000 a year for a patient. This is far beyond the affordability of people living in developing countries, mainly African countries. In this time also, Yusuf Hamied and his company comes forward with a solution that makes some revolutionary changes soon in the world. They developed a low-cost version of this medicine and ready to sell it at $2 a day. But issues related to intellectual property rights pressurized governments across the world to stay away from this offer. Because of this, CIPLA stopped their production of this new medicine for treating HIV patients. By that time, AIDS also landed in India. More than developed countries, it badly hit the African countries. 35 million people get infected by HIV. Of these, 50 million people lose their life. When HIV spreads in South Africa, its then leader Nelson Mandela amends their law to import low-cost medicines. But a signatory of TRIPS, they were forced to rethink and impose their amendment. TRIPS is a short form of trade-related aspects of intellectual property right. It's a new agreement, comes among the World Trade Organization members in 1994. It enables a common standard in intellectual property right among member nations. In the start of 21st century, Yusuf Hamied attends a conference of European Commission. He announces one thing there, but its response by other participants in the conference is not encouraging. Even though within few months it became a hot news and the world started talking about it. In September 2000, during the speech at European Commission's conference, Yusuf Hamied declared that he produce and sell the medicine for rates at $800 a year and also provide a drug which limit the transition of disease from mother to child free of cost to the developing nations. Towards this CIPLA's offer, the blockade for developing countries to grab this is the trade agreements and the patent rights that favor multinational companies and their products. Producing a product which still has patent protection also bring huge pressure on Yusuf Hamied to shut down their initiative. After some months, CIPLA makes an earth-breaking decision to distribute drugs to an organization named Doctors Without Borders at $350 a year, roughly $1 a day. This organization was established in 1971 by a group of doctors with an aim to ignore political and religious boundaries. and prioritize the welfare of victims in conflict zones, such as people vulnerable to civil war, natural calamities, and endemic diseases. In 2019, the organization has presence in 70 countries and a strength of 35,000 personnel. CIPLA's move to sell their medicine with Doctors Without Borders leads to lawsuits filed by 8 drug patent holding giant pharma companies. By this time, large protests started to undergo against pharma companies and governments which tries to support to protect patent and making blockade to low-cost medicine for treating HIV. Because of all this, they soon withdrew their lawsuits and agreed to sell their products also at lower price in African countries. Thus an Indian company saved the lives of millions of people. Here they act unethically against patent rights, but their intention was to distribute a medicine at lower cost to a vulnerable society and thus save the millions of poor people's lives.